Okay, next, the fun part. Now we get to find the regression model using our graphing calculator. So hopefully you still have the data, that same data in your calculator from previously. And there are a couple ways to find this regression model. And there are advantages and disadvantages to each way. So let's go ahead and look at the first way, which is on our scatter plot that already exists. We can press Menu, 4 for Analyze, Regression, and A shows sinusoidal. Now, your calculator will default to give you a sinusoidal model using sine, as we can see here. And so you can see that they give us the sinusoidal model. It's a bit hard to see. The rounding, they leave a lot of decimals. Maybe yours is a little bit better. There are ways to change that so it doesn't look so sloppy and ugly, but we're not going to worry about that right now. But what we can see is, wow, how close this model actually is to the red one that we found. It's even very hard. There's the red one. It's hard to click and see. That's the one we found by hand. And then the black one is the regression model found using the calculator. And I can't get that back, so that's a bit annoying. There it is. And so you can write this down on your paper now and round it to 3 sig figs. Let's go ahead and do that. So if we go back to our notes, we can write down the regression model now. And we have T of M, the temperature in terms of month, is equal to, you should have 11.0 times the sine of, I believe it should be 0.513 M minus 2.04 plus 13.2. And we can compare this even visually to how close this is to our original model. We can see that the amplitude is almost the same, 11.1 and 11.0. Also, the midlines here are almost the same, 13.3 and 13.2. I bet if you took your calculator and typed in pi divided by 6, it would be about 0.513. It's pretty close. The phase shift will be different though, because sine to cosine, in order to have the same shape of function, the phase shift is going to be quite different. And so the C value is not going to be the same, but the other three values should be pretty close. So we're going to use that regression model to find, answer this problem. And that's Carlotta likes to go water skiing when the temperature is at least 22 degrees. Let's use the model to see how many months that Carlotta is able to water ski in Milan. So she needs the temperature to be at least 22 degrees. So what we actually want to do here is we want a graph of this model. Now, the graph on the scatter plot is not so useful. You actually want the graph on a graph page. And in order to do that, what you're going to do is add a new page first of calculator. And you're going to find the regression model on the calculator page by pressing Menu, Statistics, Stat Calculations, down to Sinusoidal Regression. Maybe. There we go. Our X list was M and our Y list was T. You don't have to worry about iterations, but you do care about where it's saving the regression equation to. It's saving it to F2. So I'm going to press OK. And notice I can also see the same values for the sinusoidal regression here that are actually not the same as what we had over there. 10.95. Oh, it is 11.0. Yeah, sorry. 10.95 did round to 11.0. It is the same as the values we've got previously. Now you're going to open up a graph page. So add a new page of graphs. And notice it starts on F3. If you press your up key right now, it'll take you to F2. Press enter on F2. And we can see part of our sinusoid. Notice I am in radians. If you're not in radians, you won't see this, this graph. You want to definitely be in radians. And then you can press, we need to change our viewing window. And we've practiced this a bit. So menu, window zoom, window settings. X min and X max. Those X is representing our months of the year. So let's just go from 0 to 12. I think that should be pretty good. We could go even a little bit further and go to 13 if we wanted to, but we should definitely see a full year cycle from 0 to 12, 0 to 13. And for Y min, Y is the minimum temperature, which we had as 2.2. So let's go down to 2, a little bit below. The maximum temperature was 24.4. So let's go a little bit higher, like to 24.6. Now we have a pretty good visual of this sinusoidal model. Now remember, Carlotta only likes to go water skiing when it's at least 22 degrees. Well, I see 24.6 here. And so I need to find how long or for how many months it's at least 22 degrees. And remember how we do this is we press tab and we want to graph a horizontal line at 22. So tab, F3, sure, F3 is fine, can be 22. And now we want to find these two intersection points. Menu, analyze graph, intersection, lower upper bound, I have 5.8. And I'll do the same. Menu, analyze graph, intersection, and get the other intersection as well. So I have my two intersections. So I know from 8.28 months, the 8.28, so probably sometime in August, are actually beginning toward the end of May, 5.8 up to the middle of August, the temperature should be okay for Carlotta to go water skiing. And so let's go back to the question. How many months is she able to water ski? Well, I can subtract those two values, 8.28 minus 5.8, which is about 2.48 months. She can water ski for about 2.5 months. All right, that's it for today. We'll practice more in class.